the first video got cut off, so I'm just going to do a quick second. Here's what the TV looks like.
Large rally in support of Palestinians. Shannon Stone is overhead the crowd on the Upper East Side. Shannon?
Yeah, this started at noon down by Union Square, and they started marching at 1 o'clock. It first went up past the UN, and you are looking at it now, down on York Avenue, coming up on East 73rd Street, as this group makes its way towards Gracie Mansion. We can tell you that as we have been watching this progress, it has shrunk in size significantly. We had probably close to 5,000 people at one point. I'm going to say the crowd is down to about 1,500 now, but again, York Avenue at this point, between 73rd and 71st Street, is where this group is, as again, they progress towards Gracie Mansion. And what we've seen so far is, once again, been a very peaceful protest with police bringing up the rear as well as guiding them in the front, making sure they don't go off course. Reporting live over Manhattan, Shannon Stone, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Shannon, thank you. Well, today we remember civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The holiday is being marked with events.
All right, so now I'm going to go to same newscast, but an earlier time where they show Nassau County and their parade. And here's what it looks like.
Hi, Charlene. This is the 31st year that this parade is happening here, and it's the oldest Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day parade here on Long Island, and that is something that the village of Hempstead is very proud of. I want to get you straight to some video of the celebrations and parades. High school students braving the cold. That's the marching band there that you're looking at. The parade kicked off at 9 a.m. from Hempstead Village Hall. Hundreds participated and lined the streets to celebrate and honor the civil rights icon. Now, today would have been Dr. King's 95th birthday. Hempstead also honored the family of Dr. MLK. He was the surgeon that saved Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life after he was stabbed in an attempted assassination in Harlem back in 1958. I interviewed that surgeon's son, Ron Niclario, who still has the thank you letter that Dr. King sent his family.
How important this letter is to me? People said, why don't you try to sell it? There is no way I'm selling it. This is priceless to me. It's priceless to the Niclario family, and I treasure this. I have many, many victories in high school. The winningest high school coach in New York City, New York State public school history. But this letter means just as much as every victory I've ever gotten. So it's special.
Still leaving a mark. There was also a celebration here on campus at Hofstra University. This is where the parade ended in honor of Dr. King. It was hosted by Hempstead Mayor Waylon Hobbs. Live in Hempstead, Shantae Lands, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Shantae. Well, still ahead in Eyewitness News at noon. So, you know those new turnstiles.
So that's what was going on in New York City. And then Stephen Colbert on his Late Show uses this term, meanwhile, which I heard also in Mean Girls. So I'm just going to look up here to see. I'm learning a little bit from not only the Smithsonian, the Aerial America Smithsonian version of the geography and some of the historic landmarks of the United States of America with the General George Washington and the president, the first president ever. Just so the administrations of past presidents don't somehow become rivals in some whatever. I mean, there is always just one first president. So I'm going to just show this mention of what former President Donald Trump says, and then what one of the actual Iowans say, because it's, I mean, I don't want to speak of immigration as disease because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I will say that when there's a neighborhood that's been bought out substantially, and numbers are starting to dwindle significantly enough that it's of grave concern on several different levels. Um, Again, I'm in an area where there was this miracle on the Hudson for anything that flies. I mean, that must have been a story that went around. Like, that put the Hudson River on the map, I would assume. Um, so, um, so I'm just gonna put up for a second what it looks like from Iowa. Again, when they refer to Iowa, they refer to, and it says caucus captain on his hat. So I didn't make that up. That's actually what is. And I noticed that he brought boxes of pizza, which is an internal mechanic of things that unify us in America, is this idea of pizza and pizzeria. Um, and I saw that he brought several boxes of that to Iowa, as, I guess, I don't know, is that called a peace offering? So this is what it looks like.
Trump to scrap most of his weekend schedule. He spent Sunday visiting firehouses and demanding supporters show up today.
You can't sit home. If you're sick as a dog, you say, darling, I'm going to make it. Even if you vote and then pass away, it's worth it, remember?
The Iowa Republican caucuses require mandatory in-person attendance.
It's not going to be that many people in the grand scheme of things, so your vote matters.
There are more than 1,600 individual caucuses held statewide. Only registered Republicans can participate. Newcomers are welcome, but must register with the GOP on site.
This is our chance in Iowa to make a difference.
Carla Succo is among the newcomers. A former independent, she registered Republican and plans to vote for Haley amid concerns about Trump. So for you, you're willing to come out in the bitter cold to stop Donald Trump, is what I'm hearing you say.
I will. I've been home since Thursday, snowed in for 2 days, and the cold, I mean, you just dress warm, and that's not a big deal to me.
Joining us now here in Des Moines, along with Andy, is CBS News Chief Campaign and Election Correspondent Robert Costa. Both of you guys were out on the campaign trail yesterday. You've been following the closing pitches. Bob, I want to start with you. You've been covering the Trump.
Okay, so this is what the interview with the real, authentic Iowan sounds like.
Fine, with most believing that newcomers are making crime, drugs, the economy, and even the country's social and moral values worse.
I want a culture that's still our culture.
Janita Boyd is one of those Republicans in Marshalltown.
People don't want to move here. They call us Little Mexico.
Since 1990, the Hispanic population here has jumped from less than 1% of the town to more than a third, with many finding work at a meatpacking plant that anchors the local economy.
What's so different about the people coming over now compared to the many waves and generations of Americans who've come over before in one way or another?
I think it's the numbers. You know, there's just so many, and it's hard to assimilate that many people.
That's a fear we heard about often here in Iowa. First, on a farm.
A lot of these people, and you know, right or wrong, but are bringing their own culture with them, and they're not interested in becoming American.
And then on a Sunday after church.
I mean, we can't provide ourselves. How can we provide for them?
Most of them are young men. God knows what they're going to do. I fear that the most.
But maybe the most emotional border issue of all is drugs. In the Cedar Rapids suburb of Lisbon, Hans Arwine delivered the worst news to his wife.
So that's what the picture looks like while I have this broken ankle. And I'm here just in this, like, phase of my life where, I mean, I never really watched the news before. I was more away from the television. I was with the kids. I was with, like, trying to find work, trying to find a way to get by, to keep a roof over our heads, food on the table. Um, and now I'm stuck at this, like, it feels like rear view window looking, going like, what on earth happened here? Um, so that's what it looks like in the year 2024. Um, from Long Island, from, they say, state of New York. Um, there's not a whole lot of, yeah, I don't really know how to, like, put that to words. I just know there's great significance. Um, I just I don't know where the on ramp is. I don't know why I was cast so harshly. Um, and not only cast harshly, but just dragged out. It's just, I mean, it's one thing to take a beating, but it is 45 years of just not being able to catch a break. I don't know what that's about. I don't. And it's like, as far as the Federal Reserve System in the United States of America go, with past presidents and past ancestry and heraldry in this area, I mean, realistically, I was born a flower to cherish, who is going to bloom and have children. And I was setting the next stage. I mean, and in my life frame, I happen to have um, the special clock, the special biological clock in star timing. I call it calcaneus calculus, on top of just being and, like, looking like any other woman. Um, oh, and they put out there, they crowned a woman who's an Air Force pilot, um, and she's a crowned Miss America. They had her up on the news tonight as well. I thought that in the aviation community that was important, um, important of a mention, especially with some of the stuff going on with the television, the corporate brand Verizon, whatever the heck Disney's done with their parenting companies and their shareholders, and how it feels like I've been stonewalled, blacklisted, blackballed. I don't know. I mean, blacksmith for sure, because that's where they stuck me with the last toilet paper marriage certificate. Um, but that's just how this area has dishonored and then deteriorated. And I didn't think it was a good idea, but here we are at I don't run America, and I don't know what America's running on at this point. Um, I mean, I listen to the country music now, looking for, like, redneck ministry, um, looking for answers, but it is hard to follow some of their things because so much time has elapsed. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Keterizit's Earth, solar system, Milky Way universe, galaxy is broken. And it's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.